Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Solana on its way up to 160 to sweep all that liquidation we've been talking about. So this is a pretty good sign. Keep in mind Bitcoin is overextended a bit on the 65K range. So my personal opinion, Bitcoin is going to probably hit 66,000 here soon. So we'll probably see one more last leg up from Solana would be my guess. But we want to double check a few things here, right? We got this nice little cup and handle pattern that played out, depending on how you look at it, right? Not the cleanest, but they never really are. What we're looking for here, though, honestly, is a bullish backtest of this previous high to work as a new low. That's generally what you want to do here. So if all goes well, the price kind of just comes down here, hangs out here for a few hours, and we get a candlestick closure in the 153/154 or higher. That would signal a consideration for a long. Pending Bitcoin doesn't take a nosedive, we should be in pretty good shape to see that. Even in fact, if Bitcoin were to pull back, we're seeing a pretty significant amount of Bitcoin dominance, maintaining its lower range essentially, and altcoins doing really well. I mean, altcoins are surging and Bitcoin dominance is staying the same. That tells us quite a lot, basically just implying that altcoins are essentially back on track and we shouldn't experience any massive pullbacks from altcoins, or just importantly, if we do see them, they're going to probably retest those key fib levels, like this one, for example, is 0.618 fib. I mentioned yesterday, 146 to 148 would be a solid consideration for entry here, okay? So let's quickly take a look here at the back-end liquidation data. This just kind of helps us get perspective of the overall picture. I want to say thank you to my community members here for some awesome feedback. Glad it's all working out well for you. Got 68% here from ICP in 2 weeks, 4 days, 70% from Near Protocol, Cardano, 2 weeks, roughly 61% VeChain, 20%. Polkadot 21%. We've got 2 other long positions open as well, currently in profit. Super close, soon to hit their targets here. Filecoin is one of those. I'll cover that again soon. So let's jump into the liquidation, kind of see where we're at. Easy way to understand it is that pretty much all liquidation on the short term, the last 7 days, has been completely swept. So we don't really see a whole heck of a lot there, right? So if we look and kind of zoom out a little bit, we can see this area. And as mentioned previously, 160 does have some liquidation, but we got what, 157? Pretty much, I mean, you look at this, there's 1 billion. I mean, there's good like 3 to 4 billion that just got swept between 154 and 158. And we're seeing 159 to 160 as just a small amount left here. So there isn't too much to extract here except for the fact that there's very little liquidation left. And that implies that the price action can do whatever it wants now. So it basically just tells us that there's going to be slightly less manipulation involved because of the simple fact that all liquidation levels have been achieved, so to speak. So congratulations, whales, you've done your job. Well done. So now that that's all essentially in place, right, and we know that there's no more liquidation, it really just tells us that the technical analysis is going to shine a little bit brighter because there's essentially less potential for the price to be gravitated towards one side or the other based on just simple liquidation events and greed, right? We do got to recognize there is still a fair value gap down here as low as 134, but as the price continues to sustain itself, build this volume profile in the 144 range, as we mentioned previously, is a macro. It's a macro point of control and also a more short-term trend. We can also recognize that likelihood of 136 is becoming very distinct in the sense that it probably won't happen, okay? So try not to focus too much on fair value gaps. They are beneficial and helpful once we get closer to that range, for example, but right now we're so far away, it shouldn't even be on your radar. What that basically just means is that we're over every single moving average. We're still honoring our ascending trend here, which we can go ahead and extend out a little bit here and just kind of pay attention to that guy and just make sure that we are looking at the overall trend, right? Because again, Bitcoin has a trend right now, and if you trade in the direction of the trend, you're fine. If you're shorting right now, you're probably finding a lot of liquidation events or just in general getting destroyed left and right. Now again, what goes up must come down. We've got a pretty significant market here right now, and you got to recognize there's a lot of reasons why the prices can and will pull back eventually. But I don't think they're going to be as monumental as you would want them to be, based on the fact that most altcoins have broken through some key level resistances, retest them as supports. Bitcoin dominance is also maintaining its range at that 57.5%, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Imagine if it drops down to low 50s, right? But for now, that's a good sign, okay? So anyways, all that combined, money flow index being above the RSI is super awesome. Just high MFI, you're going to get sustainability, right? And again, the inverse can be said too as well. Money flow index goes down, you can see the price pull back, really. It just implies that there's money flowing away or into the coin right now. Last 14 days, we've seen a lot more money coming in, and that provides sustainability at the current price point or higher. We do see a significant volume candle here in the 4-hour time frame, which it just closed, as a matter of fact. So we just closed our 4-hour candle with a significant amount of volume. We can take a look here, and we can see we're testing 70 on the RSI. So me personally, I think a pullback would make sense here. It could and should continue further higher, of course, because there's a lot of momentum. But from a overextended or resistance standpoint, we're getting closer to that level. That in combination with the liquidation levels already being swept, I would say market makers are probably going to want to secure some profits here soon. But you got to recognize too, there's so much consolidation in this 144 to 146, 147 range that it may not even matter, and you probably can't even pull the price down very, very hard, right? So a lot of selling pressure would have to occur in order for us to be able to break through that support range. Remember, 144 is that very, very strong macro point of control, and even locally here we got the 146 to 147 as that local bounce. Strong chance that the price pulls back. We're going to see it leg up again. Again, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin, but for the most part, it kind of doesn't too, because a lot of altcoins are breaking free from Bitcoin, doing significantly well. We got a MACD convergence here on the 4-hour. We can see minus testing 70 in the RSI. Remember, if we break through this, folks, it's going to be a whole other story. Quickly to touch on that, anytime you break above 70 on the RSI, you generally see some pretty amazing stuff, right? So this is what happened last time RSI broke 70. We went from here to here. That was a significant margin, approximately a 10% movement from Solana once that occurred. So by me saying right now we're at a resistance level doesn't imply it's going to stop. It just tells us that if we break through it, it's going to probably run. So you're probably better off at this point, statistically more probable to find more profit to the upside than the downside. Because the margin is smaller, right? If you try to short right now, 2%, maybe 4% is a better case scenario to the low 150s. It doesn't seem to make any sense the price is going to pull back like you would think. Okay, so again, logic doesn't always apply in situations like this. All right, so let's take a look here at the hourly time frame and recognize Ichimoku Cloud confirming on every single sentiment here. There's 3 confirming factors for this coin, for this indicator on this coin that are telling us that we're in really, really good shape. So folks, I got news for you. Solana is bullish. I think the likelihood of the price pulling back is minimal, but if it does pull back, we have a stronger likelihood of the price pivoting and bouncing off this 153 range as a close approximate. Keep in mind, we'll go ahead and update our playout chart here, post that on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Friendly reminder, it looks a little something like this if you're not familiar. This is kind of just where we're at here with Bitcoin, for example. I think we're going to probably see a bounce off 64.5 here soon if Bitcoin does pull back, but there's still a lot of liquidation there. Anyways, I just mentioned that because that's relevant here, but feel free to follow over here as well, because we've been expecting Bitcoin to surge for a while. Now that it's broken its resistance, I think coins like Solana and others are going to continue to move. So me personally, I'm looking for a long in the 154 to 152 range as a rough estimate here. Okay, but we're looking for a period of consolidation first before we do that. You don't just buy the dip as soon as it comes down. It doesn't necessarily launch every time that happens. But again, statistical probabilities are exactly that. They're fairly high right now to the upside. Okay, I think I described that fairly well, I hope, in many different circular fashions. So thanks so much again for watching, folks. I just want to say really deeply appreciate the support from everybody. Some people really went to bat for me recently when we had some downtime on the channel, and I'm just super, super thankful to be able to work with some amazing people too. That goes for a majority of people in our Discord as well. Just thanks again, everybody. It's like a family over here. It's really super cool. So I'm just happy to be part of that. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourself.